I've been working the night shift for about a month now, and I get out around 2 a.m. I live almost an hour from work, so I've taken to driving down this country road that has no streetlights to get home because it's faster. It's surrounded by trees and bushes on both sides, and it's so dark, it feels like I'm in the middle of an ocean. I normally see like one, maybe two cars on the road, but I can go as fast as I want, so it doesn't matter. Except tonight, it's raining pretty hard, so I don't go as fast as I normally do because there are sharp curves and stuff. I have my bright lights on, and I'm about halfway home when in the middle of the road this pot-bellied guy is standing stark naked. Like he's just there with long hair and a beard, and he's naked and standing over the center lane in the road. I freak out and speed up past him, and could swear he smiled at me as I did. I checked my rear view mirror 50 times on my way home, got in, and locked everything up tight. I don't want to ever meet whoever that was, and I don't think I'll be driving down that road anymore. I'm a terrible writer, so please bear with me. I'm just here to see what the people of Reddit think of this situation. A little boring backstory. My mother had me at a very young age of 19 and was very proactive to ensure that she gave me the best upbringing possible. She worked her ass off, had her own apartment, own car, paid bills in time, and catered to every need I had as an infant until I had to fly the coop. She's pretty amazing, and so is my family. Both my father and my mother's side of the family were there whenever my mom needed someone to watch me when she had to go to work, but sometimes not all schedules aligned and had to resort to hiring babysitters. I was told that she posted some flyers in popular places and cafes to get a larger audience in hopes of someone contacting her, and which to her surprise, she received some feedback and hired a wonderful girl named Rachel. Sounds pretty casual and anticlimactic to some, including myself. I always ask how I was a child, some funny stories, memorable moments, and etc. I don't know why, I'm just that type of person who loves detail and will ask questions to grasp emotions and depth to any story, especially those I'm interested in. But to my surprise, I found out that the process of finding a babysitter was much more difficult and unsettling, to say the least. I didn't find this out until I was in high school, 3 years ago. When I was in my junior year, after a volleyball game I was in, my mother and I were laughing about something when we were leaving the school doors and out of her car to head home for the night, when a lady stopped us. Now, I've seen this lady around my school usually after hours to clean and take out the trash. She was a janitor, and I never really thought about her deeply before until she stopped us that night. It was evident that she had special needs, and I don't mean that in any bad or degrading way. It was clear that she was excited to see me, and it was also clear that my mother was uneasy when she put her arm around my waist. "I know you. I used to babysit you when you were younger," she'd say. "Just a wee baby. I used to see you a couple times a month. We were practically best friends." She even mentioned my name. To my knowledge, I had no idea who this woman was, at least personally. Immediately confused, and before I could say another word, my mom pushed me out the door and hastily walked me to her car. She didn't say a word the whole ride, and I didn't ask any questions. A few days passed, and I brought up the situation to my mom randomly. I could tell she was really disturbed at the thought of it, but she ended up sitting me down and telling me the story of when she was looking to hire someone to babysit me. The lady I had met at school that night had contacted my mom regarding her flyer. I guess they went to the same school, which happens to be the school I went to, and since we live in a very small and rural town, she knew where my mother lived. When my mother respectfully declined the lady, she got obsessive with her and I. She would call my mom every day, visiting her at work and even waiting outside of her house to try and change her mind on hiring her. She would even write letters to my mom and stick them in the mailbox. It got to a point where one day my mom woke up from a nap to her sitting on the floor in the living room and playing with me as I laughed with glee. She stopped her story from there. I assumed that she had either moved, had a restraining order, or called the cops, maybe all three. But it really shook her up, and I think anyone can understand why. We don't know how she got in, or how long she knew how to get in, or even how long she's been entering the house. All I know is that after that night, she stared at me while I had volleyball practice. Ever since I graduated high school, I haven't seen her. So lady, whoever you are, let's not meet. One day, my parents weren't home, so it was just me and my sister. We were homeschooled. I don't remember how old we were, but I do know what homeschool program I was doing, and I was in anywhere from 3rd to 5th grade, and my sister is 3 years older than me. We were sitting in the dining room on our computers doing school, like we always did. One of us was sitting facing the window, and one of us was sitting across the table with our back to the window. Then these two huge guys walked up to our porch, which is what the window faced. I distinctly remember them being tall, husky guys wearing black suit shirts, black slacks, and one of them had a neon pink silk tie, and the other one had a neon green one. My sister and I still argue about whether they were black or Hispanic, but either way, they had darker skin. One of them was darker than the other. The darker one had a shaved head, and the lighter one had black hair, kinda slicked back, and they were holding clipboards. As soon as they reached the door, they pounded on it, like policemen style pounding. I've always been a very skittish person, afraid of my own shadow, so that alone terrified me. They kept pounding and ringing the doorbell for a few minutes. Then one of them looked into the window, like hands over their eyebrows, touching the window, looking in. The blinds were open, so they saw us staring right back at them. The darker skinned guy looked in too, and then knocked on the window and yelled, "Hey girls, don't worry, just open the door." I was shaking in my chair. I was terrified of kidnappers and burglars, and as far as I knew, I was staring one in the face. Thankfully, my sister walked over to the window and closed the blinds, grabbed the phone, and called my grandparents who lived right across the street. They left after that. I have no idea what had happened, or what they wanted, or if their intentions were innocent or not, but that is not how you approach two girls. For years after that, I was petrified of someone knocking at the door or just strangers in general. Whoever they were, I'd rather not meet them again.